My presentation is on Omar Bradley, and he was a general in World War II. Some information. He was born on February 12th, 1893, in a log cabin near Clark, Missouri, and he died on April 8th, 1981, due to arrhythmia. He was the only surviving child of his family. He had other siblings, but they just never made it past childhood. And he received a secondary education, and he ended up becoming a star on the Moberly High School baseball team. And he was actually good enough, he could have played professional, and he had a lot of offers to go professional, but he turned them all down to go into the military. After high school, he worked for the Wabash Railroad Company, and he was trying to earn enough money so that he could attend the University of Missouri. But then his friend suggested that he applied to West Point, and so his plans changed, and he applied for an appointment to West Point. And there he actually ended up placing first for all of his entering exams. And he then entered the military academy in 1911. His family background, his parents were John Smith Bradley and Sarah Elizabeth Bradley. And like I said, they had other children, but none of them survived long enough. And so Omar was basically their only child. He married Mary Elizabeth Quayle Bradley on December 28th, 1916. And they had two children together. One of them was an unnamed boy. He was born stillborn, so they just never named him. And that was in 1918. And then they had a daughter, Elizabeth Bradley, on December 3rd, 1923. And she was born at West Point. Mary died in December of 1965. And 9 months later, after her death, he actually remarried, and he married one of his friends, Esther Dora Katie Bueller, and they had been friends for 16 years, and they had worked together on and off too. And Esther was 44 while Bradley was 73. His career before World War II, he graduated from West Point on June 12th, 1915, and he graduated as second lieutenant of infantry. And 3 months after his graduation, he joined the 14th Infantry Regiment at Fort George Wright near Spokane. And then later he graduated from Command and General Staff College at Fort Leavenworth in Kansas in 1929. And then he was soon assigned to War Department General Staff in 1938. And there his job was to present decision papers to the Chief of Staff Marshal. His role during World War II, he was a senior commander of American ground troops in Europe from D-Day to the surrender of Germans in 1945. He ended up developing a very close working relationship with Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he was the Supreme Allied Commander in Europe, and he kind of just mentored Bradley and just kind of helped him out a lot. And he soon attained the rank of Major General in 1942. Then he led the American Corps in North Africa in 1943, and he was so successful in this attack, and it ended up with him getting a promotion to Lieutenant General. And then as Lieutenant General, he led the American First Army Group at D-Day, and then after that, he got promoted to full general in 1945, and he served as general until 1953 when he retired. His personality, he was a very effective and efficient leader, and everybody always kind of looked up to him. He was really respectful to everybody, and he accomplished a lot. And he always thought before he spoke and was very mature. And one of his best qualities was that he allowed other people to take credit for their own work, and he didn't take anything he didn't earn on his own or he didn't deserve to have credit for. And so people really just looked up to him for that because he was really modest. Some of his best character traits, he was very gentle and quiet. He had a lot of self-control and projected unusual kindness towards everybody. I mean, regardless of what rank they were or anything, he would always treat them with respect and kindness. And he never really had a temper or anything. Although he would rarely smile, which I thought was kind of weird, but he was just a very conservative guy. And then this is what someone said about him. The thing I most admire about Omar Bradley is his gentleness. He was never known to issue an order to anybody of any rank without saying please first. So that shows that even if somebody was ranked below him, he still showed them respect. And so that really showed like a lot about his character and what type of person he was. His main weakness was being almost too nice for being a general in the army. He could have been considered like too soft or kind of weak at times, but that was also one of his biggest strengths, was being respectful and nice towards everybody. So that one kind of goes both ways. He didn't really have many other weaknesses. What can we learn from him? I think what we can learn most is that just being a good and respectful person can lead you really far in life. He was one of the main examples of a very successful, like, nice guy in the war. Most people will say that kind of like the people who were mean and like, were super tough on their like men made it further, but he was really nice and respectful, and he still made it just as far as anybody else. My overall impression of him is that he was a great person and a great leader. He always showed respect to everybody and was always really kind to anybody, no matter what rank they were or anything. And he also gave up a career where he could have made like a lot of money to play professional baseball, and he gave that up to fight for his country. So that kind of just shows a lot about what type of person he was. He gave up something he loved doing to go fight for his country. So that was cool to me. Some of his famous quotes: "We know more about war than we know about peace, more about killing than we know about living. And leadership is intangible, and therefore no weapon ever designed can replace it," which I thought that one was cool because he was a really good leader. And with the monstrous weapons man already has, humanity is in danger of being trapped in this world by its moral adolescence.